Hello guys. Today we will discuss about viral load and viral shedding. How it is related to new infection and treatment outcome. Why it is important to know. So let's start. Viral load is a numerical expression of the quantity of virus in a given volume of body fluid, usually blood plasma. It is measured as a number of virus particle per ml of body fluid. A higher viral load often correlates with the severity of an active viral infection. Tracking viral load is used to monitor therapy during chronic viral infection. Now, what is viral shedding? Viral shedding refers to the expulsion and release of virus progeny following successful reproduction during a host cell infection. Once the replication has been completed and the host cell is exhausted of all resources in making viral progeny, the viruses may begin to leave the cell by several methods. In simple words, this is an ongoing process in which your cells are dying and tons of new viruses coming out of the cells. The term viral shedding is used in different ways. The shedding can be from one part of the body to another part of the body, and shedding from bodies into the environment where the virus may infect other bodies. This last point is very important because contagiousness of a viral disease depends on the environmental shedding. A person with a viral disease is contagious if they are shedding viruses. The rate at which the infected person sheds virus over time is therefore a considerable interest. In this stage, one can infect many other people. According to a recent article published on Nature Medicine, infectiousness starts at least 2 days before the symptom onset. That means a person can infect other person at that time even when they are not showing any symptom. The infectivity reaches its peak 2 days before and 1 day after the onset of symptom. After symptom onset, viral loads decrease monotonically. Virus can be detected for a median of 20 days up to 37 days among survivors after symptom onset. But infectiousness may decline significantly 8 days after the symptom onset. According to Professor Wendy, head of the Department of Infectious Disease, Imperial College London, the viral load is important for multiple reasons. In general, with respiratory viruses, the outcome of infection, whether you get severely ill or only get a mild cold, can sometimes be determined by how much virus actually got into your body and started the infection off. It's all about the size of the armies on each side of the battle. A very large virus army is difficult for our immune system's army to fight off. Here comes the importance of social distancing and isolation. For example, in a room, if there are 5 positive people and if you are exposed to all of them, then the viral load would be much higher as compared to the only positive person in the room. Also, if you are standing at less than 6 feet distance against COVID-19 person and if he sneezes, then the virus particles encountered by you would be much higher than the person standing at a more than 6 feet distance. According to some researchers, if a person has high viral load and is in viral shedding stage, then this may also impact the transmission. Higher the viral load, the more infectious someone is likely to be. It is also possible that the individual with pneumonia who have higher viral load might develop more serious disease. No doubt, many factors will have an impact as disease development is a complex process. Now, let's talk about the viral load of the elderly and immunocompromised patients. As we know that the healthy people, it takes almost around 4 to 7 days to activate the acquired immune system and around 2 weeks to produce antibodies against the virus. Till then, our innate immune system fights with the virus. In older people or people with immunodeficiencies, the activation of the acquired immune system may be delayed. This means that the virus can carry on replicating and spreading in the body, causing chaos and damage. But there are another consequences. The innate immune response will keep on increasing as the virus replicates and spreads. Part of the innate immune response causes inflammation, as we know that there is continuous production of inflammatory cytokines. That is useful in containing the virus early in the infection but can result in widespread damage of the uninfected tissue. In medical term, we call this as a bystander effect. If it becomes too large and uncontrolled, then the situation is called cytokine storm. It is difficult to manage clinically as it requires intensive care and treatment, which also increase the chances of death. That is why older and immunocompromised people are at great risk and the treatment outcome is also poor. So, in a nutshell, maintain social distancing and self isolation as effectively as possible. Stay home, stay safe. That's all, guys. Please like, comment, and share. And don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.